maybe it doesn't work with the statically fibers. Maybe it only gives a small voltage. Maybe it does work. And if it does, I was thinking about how we could bring this to Earth. Well, if this was encased in Earth, I don't know if it'll work though. I don't know if it'll give off that much energy just thinking about it. I think it's more the concept of something heated inside of it that will rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see like a heated lump of molten, what do you call it? I think might be the answer here. I don't know whether this gives a concept to play around with. Anyway, let's say this one did work and it was given out a fair few voltages.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't this make a better wind turbine?
Yeah.
If you put the propeller from a wind turbine on it, but there again, it's not spinning all the time unless you're in a really windy place all the time. Then you could put a propeller on the end of this and it spin the ball inside here, based upon how fast the wind is going at the time, and that could rotate it, but it wouldn't be all the time. It'd be intermittent, and you wouldn't need that oomph power like a turbine takes. Do you get what I mean? Like where it really has to fight against the wind.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more so it's going to be something that's molten sitting in here. Do you get what I mean? Like a molten lump of star material. No, it's not star material. I'm trying to think. Steel and iron, is it? Steel.
Yeah.
And it makes that, when it gets hot, it starts sparking out, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it steel? It starts to spark and whiz when it gets hot? When it gets hot enough, it starts. But is that because it's in Earth and it's reacting to the core? And the Earth is trying to discharge into it. You see, that's the next bit. I don't understand molten metal, whether it's actually working because it's, what do you call it? Based upon the Earth's core discharging into it.
But wouldn't it do even in space close to some other
But then
body?
when you're travelling through the void of space and you're going from one star to another star, you'll then wean out. The energy levels will start to deplete, if that be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see?
Yeah, I do see.
I'm going to be the critic of my own stuff. I usually am. I try and pull all of this stuff to pull it out. You see, because that would be a freaking bummer, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wouldn't, but it would. It means then you'd have to stay around your star, and then you still can't outrun your star. Do you see? Because it might be discharging from the place surrounding area, or it, is it actually generating energy, or is it attracting it when it gets hot?
Yeah, that's a question, isn't it?
And because the other one is bigger, it's sort of discharging it into it.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever touched it, so we don't know really what's going on there. I don't know. Friction engine. A friction. Creating a lot of friction. I mean, you can't get this to spin ultra fast on the Earth, but you can out in space. Just by keep on charging the clockwork and throwing it into here. And then once that one is spinning and it's rotating and no problem, then you go again with the motor. And you just keep on pumping that energy into here until that was spinning so freaking fast. Then those fibers might start to do something very unexpected. That's where I'm trying to get this to run. It's got to go fast. It's got to spin very fast. The faster this starts to rotate, I mean, that's going to be creating lightning sparks all over the place, I think. Oh yeah, this one's going to work. It's no ifs or buts. It's how fast you can spin it. And if it's a small scale one, and let's say you spin it ultra fast and it's connected to the side of the ship. Could you imagine something so small and dinky powering your whole entire craft, like the International Space Station, running the whole thing? Something as small as that, but it's the concept, but it's heavy, but it's small, but it's spinning so freaking fast. And once it gets going, it's going to be very hard to stop it. And if it starts to slow down, I don't know, every 6 months it requires a recharge. Based off of the energy you're making, you can power that motor to fund back into the system. That's where you want to be. Making that much energy that even taking some of it off for the motor to spin this. I think, don't spin it directly, spin the clockwork mechanism, and the gears and cogs do the hard work for you. They can chew out, but It's space. When things get going, they're very hard to stop. So if you were to take a wind-up toy and let go and it started to spin, it would keep spinning. Then you wind it up whilst it's still spinning and discharge it again. Yes, I'm sure there will be a limit to it, but not if you've got a motor that is quite a beastie beast to get that really going. And on the right cogs and mechanisms, that will spin pretty fast. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get a spinning, and then that's going to generate a lot of friction, and then friction is just going to maybe. I don't know if you could get it to do it on Earth because of gravity, wind resistance, and everything else like that. It will want to slow down eventually, won't it?
Yeah.
But in space, I don't know. Doesn't it? Once it starts, it's hard to stop.
It is.
Things just want to keep on traveling. They eventually slow down. Yeah, sure. Not for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you only needed to charge this up once every lifetime. That's something. Get it on Earth if it was good enough, and use the wind to spin into a. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the wind can charge up some low. No, that might not work. Charging up some clockworks or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Charge up some clockworks and then discharge it into one of these that are on the Earth. Probably not going to work because you need lots of them, and that is a lot of energy to put into it. Unless you could map the Earth's rotation and put that into a motor, but then you could slow the spin, and that's dangerous for all species on the planet, not just humans. They'll be lowering the power consumption. I mean, solar panels are great, but if we use solar panels and we're around the sun, that only gives us a little bit longer. You know, and if the sun spits out a load of CME or anything else like that, and we're in its firing line, that doesn't give us very long. That's the problem. It's the length of time that it gives you. A little bit more, but not much. If this one works, then it gives you that. It unlocks it. I need to be able to test it. Because then I can build more from what I see from that and what comes from it, and then I can tweak it further. I'm not sure what else I could add to it. I mean, the clockwork mechanism is discharged, but that'll have a limit. That'll have an absolute limit. But if you think how big it is, the size of a craft, I mean, you got a lot of metal on Mars, for goodness sake. I mean, those to be made in some giant cogs and stuff to operate something like this. And it can power the whole of humanity, and then you build up around that. That would be awesome. Therefore, that is Eureka. You no longer need a star system anymore. You're no longer dependent on the stars. You're dependent on your own means. I mean, that is a hell of that is supremacy. That is dominance. That is something that would wow any other being that saw it. That would amaze them.
Yeah.
But you did that. Second amazement, you lifted all your animals and all your humans. Yes. You took all the water. Yes. Wow, that's incredible. It would be a force that no one would want to reckon with. Therefore, there wouldn't be any reckoning. That would be more like join together and share ideas. They might have done something in a different aspect. And then combine those two different types, and then you have two lots of survival. 3, 4, 5, 6, and multiple ways of making energy, and then it all comes together for the powerhouse. You're going to need a lot of energy in that moment, and but that's later on, and going into the void of darkness. That is interesting, and you see that will need to be tested with scouter ships. That you need to be able to send a craft into a black hole, and then it needs to be able to come out of the black hole again. That's the next. That's going to be something, but I don't know whether that's something that humans want to worry about just yet. But eventually, you'll want to be able to test something that goes into the black hole and comes out again, therefore becomes unaffected, becomes a part of it, but not destroyed in the process to become a part of it, not defused. Yeah. Do you see? Going inside the black hole, something needs to go in and then come back out again, intact. And then you're ready to go into it. So you'll know, because when it all starts to wear down and this side of the cycle starts to come to a close, and a new beginning of the cycle, recycling again, then starts over, the crossing over, or the switch over, whichever. Then there's some time in there, and you'll want your nature and stuff because, you know, you've been living on Earth for millennia, let's say, and you've been doing it without giving a shit. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Not in a nasty or negative way. I mean, like, you've been existing harmoniously on the planet and not really worried about anything. And if you can do it for that a length of time, then if you went into the void, you can survive the dark days before the light comes. Yes? Yeah. Again, before it recycles again. Mm-hmm. And then energy, you'll love it. You'll have so much energy that you won't even know what to do with it. That's when the real funky shit of your species starts to happen. Because in the beginning of the next cycle, with all of that zapping, think about what you could do with all of that. And then be good with the periodic table, because you never know, you could be making the first stars that start the whole thing off again. You ever factored that one into your calculations? Could you imagine that this whole universe is a part and parcel? What came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the universe or the humans that started it? Think about that. Yeah. We say the universe doesn't recycle, and it starts off with a little hydrogen cloud and all of this staticky. And just by getting some things that we needed, we then start off the first stars, and then the whole thing happens again. So what came first? Humans, beings, or all of them created the universe, or did the universe create the beings inside the universe? I mean, wouldn't that be a conundrum and a half to try and figure out? Never mind why you're here, how did you get here, but try and answer me that one. You asked the question of whether the chicken or the egg came first. I'm not going to ask whether human beings or beings of the universe, that's all of them. I don't want to say humans, so I should just say beings. Started in the beginning, and then started to create the first stars to get this show on the road, and then it ran from there, and no one dared leave it. Do you see then?
Yeah, I do see.
What came first? The universe or the humans? That would be interesting. That would make a good movie. That would make a good movie to the point where it would psychologically make people go, yeah, damn, yeah, that's wow, you know, just play that whole movie off, like, from start to beginning, like we're here, and like, yes, humanity, and then we fly out and make some sort of engine, and it's like, wow, and then the whole thing comes to a close. You know, you see this giant black hole merge up, you got another one over here ready to merge, and you know, before you got to that stage, you'd be in and out black holes testing it. Yeah, we made it, we can get through the black hole and stay in there, whee! And then the whole universe starts to wind down its cycle, and then the giant black hole pops this gas out everywhere, and then it starts. And humans are in that strobe sort of setting. And they then get to work with starting to fuse the first bits of gas together and create the first star. And then the movie ends by them saying, so if we just made the stars, what came first? Beings or the universe? And they just sort of all look at each other, and then the movie ends.
Yeah.
And all the credits come up on the screen, you know, really fast. And if you record that on old tape players, and you played it back, did you know it slowed down?
Oh.
Short play, long play.
Uh-huh.
Did you know how to make, yeah, I like tape players, because you can make them in slow-mo if you touch that spinny silver thing. Can't remember what else. Head. If you touched the head and slowed that down with your finger, and then it moved through slower, it was in slow motion. I had a lot of VCRs that just wouldn't read the tape for some reason, so usually I'd take a screwdriver to them as a kid, open them out, and they'd be cocked full of dust. Clean it all out, get the heads a nice clean as well, and then, yeah, you'd have really good quality tape. I love junk. I loved it when people gave me junk. I could fix it. Do you not want this back? Nope, we got a new one. You might as well have it. Fair enough, I will. And your whole PlayStation 3s. Yeah, they was jam-packed full of dust, they did. You know, people would bring them to me to clean them out. I think I was always busy and just opening them up, hoovering a paintbrush. sometimes. I don't know. Well, that's kind of fun, I guess. It's a service, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it goes really fast. Really, really fast. And maybe I'll make it gravity as well. Maybe I'll start it off and everyone's all pinned to the ship. Like, what do we do now? And anyway, you can make things spin with air, discharging air, but that's a wasted energy then. And unless you can capture the air inside here to reuse it and have loads of these like mechanisms, jets. I don't know, we take a disc, and if you have like a ball maybe, but I'm going to use a disc, and if you have lots of little of these all the way around the outside, yes?
Yeah.
Facing that way, and out the end of here, air shoots out. And all of them do it at the same time, facing the same direction. This will begin to rotate really fast. Now, I mean, what's the limit on that? Well, how much pressure can you build in a cylinder, and then can you suck it back out of here and reuse? You see where I mean? This just builds and builds and builds for me. You don't need to spin this using motor and clockwork. You could use it using recycled air inside the system, but then once you got it to a certain speed, you then need to remove the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, to stop the resistance on that.
Yeah.
Because the air will slow the thing down after eventually, but if you could then use it just to get it started, suck out the air from the chamber and then allow the void of space the vacuum of space to enter inside of it, like you could have a closed compartment and then open up all of these compartments once you've stored the air inside of that. Maybe I'm not making much sense. I don't know, maybe I am.
I think you are to me.
So you sort of like have this. This container becomes airtight in the beginning, just until you got those little, what do you call it? So this would then start spraying air out this way, yes?
Yeah.
All the way around its equator. So the air would be pushing this way, and then therefore the motion
spinning the other way.
is going to spin the opposite way.
Yeah.
Keep doing this until this thing is really rotating. And then you would then need to start sucking the air out of here that you've just been discharging. And either it goes back into the center here and then discharges out the side to get that really spinning. That can be done. Now that can be done. Or another one that sits at the side here, and you've got this with a load of flaps on the side of it, and then the air pumps into that and starts to rotate it that way to begin with. And then once it's got to an optimal speed, you then store up all of that air from in there, not to discharge it into space to waste that energy. Once that's all filled in here, then the ports open to allow the vacuum of space, so that there is no air friction on here to slow it down after that. Once these channels open, it's now part of the vacuum of space inside here. And then when it starts to slow down, these close off again, and then the same process, this air then gets discharged and then this one sucks it back in again. So you don't want to be discharging your air to get it to go. You know what I mean? Because in the beginning that could be good, because you've got air on a planet to use, or go suck in some on Mars or some, the atmosphere there, or Jupiter, whatever. And smack it into those paddles on the side, or it jets out the side, and then the thing starts to rotate really freaking fast. And then you suck that gas back up and save it for another time. Just in case you need to speed it up, or it needs to be restarted again. And then you only need one cylinder of gas at a time to go into each and every single one of these. Once they've got going, you then suck that air out of there, and then it puts it into another chamber, which then starts to spin another one, takes that air out, vacuum of space, next one. That same one volume of air can be reused multiple times, unless you get one of the valves jammed open, so that therefore that you would know, because you would vent the gas, and then you'd know, and you could stop it. And then you need some technicians to go down and find out what's all happening with that and fix it. And once it's fixed, there you go. If you've got lots of these, then yeah, you can move on to the next one. It should be a computer that should know how to operate that. And then, yeah, maybe. I think I covered that. I just wanted to talk about the wind turbine. I just don't see this working on in a gravity environment. I don't see it working. Too much slowing it down. It's almost like the planet is saying, I do enough spinning for all of you. Now slow it down. A lot of these factors that you know hamper its ability to move. So yeah. Yeah, maybe. And maybe it doesn't work. But it gives you a definite idea of how to... I mean, how are you going to hold a star in place? I wonder whether... how do you hold that? And then, if we are spinning something that's molten like that, will it, out of our control, find its order around the star? I mean, that's another thing to think about. Or black hole. It seems unlikely because the planets do wobble around and do move. But something keeps them in that orbit. Now, whether it's mass or not, it could be. And if it is mass, then we might be in some trouble because Earth might switch with Mars. Which might be medicine to Mars, but Mars is light. Something's going on with their... Yeah, because, you know, if it is to do with mass, then we are heavier than Mars, and then we might switch with Mars. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Jupiter, rather than the other way. Man, Mars, you must have had a pretty fucking big moon that overcompensated our moon's weight, mass, and the leftover. You know, Mars is slightly smaller than Earth. So if you take that, this is Earth, and then if we say that this is Mars, yes, and then we can say that this is our moon, I reckon Mars's moon was probably quite a monster. And then we don't know whether the Mars was the moon of this other particular body that got smashed to smithereens. Who knows? If that then be the case, I don't know if a bigger object can orbit a smaller object. Perhaps it was captured. Do you get what I mean? By Mars. It wasn't supposed to be there. And then it smacked and got blown to pieces, this one. Kind of made all of that asteroid or Kuiper belt, whatever it is, the one that resides between Mars and Jupiter. You know, all of that debris. And then since then, Mars and Earth have been, what do you call it, making this sort of dance, getting ready to switch. Because that would be something very terrible if this happened. Everyone's set to go to Mars, and as soon as they went to Mars, Mars switched places with Earth. And Earth became where Mars was, and Mars became where Earth was. And then, therefore, global warming would be needed on Earth if it switches at that distance from the sun. You would need to be having greenhouse gases in order to keep the heat from a distance. If they switch due to the mass, you know, one's bigger, one's smaller, then, you know, that wouldn't be a good day. Mars would then become the hothouse. But Mars would need that. That would be a very strange day indeed.
Yeah, that would be, wouldn't it?
But they're dancing. Compared to all the other planets, Mars and Earth, we look at it and say, I wonder what Mars is doing. Are you sure that isn't us making this weird? They're getting ready to switch. It's what it looks like. It looks like a very intricate dance is going on. It doesn't happen overnight. It does in terms of the universe, but in the terms of our time perspective, it doesn't happen overnight. But in the universe's time speed is very important to understand it. And our solar system has a time speed that's different to the others. How do I explain that? Everything has a time. It's all in a now moment, but everything still has that sort of perception of time. Your perception of time is not what a snail perceives as time, nor a pigeon. But it doesn't just stop with the animals on your own planet. Time perception. Excited, time goes quick. Bored, time goes slow. Perception, again,
Yes.
warping your understanding of time.
Yes.
But the solar system has one that's different to yours.
Mm-hmm.
And the black hole's understanding of time and its perception of it is different to the solar systems that reside in it. It's different again. And then the grand scheme of the universe's time perception. Well, how long's it been going on for? And it gives you an understanding of how it perceives as time. And its life is like for like. So whether you're a snail, the universe, black holes, solar systems, stars, you all got the same like for like life and time, but just in a different perspective. Isn't that strange?
It is strange.
So a mayfly might last a little while, but to it was like your lifetime. It was like what you would perceive as a lifetime, a good life, good lifetime, a good envelope on it, a good notch. If it wasn't eaten by a predator or anything else like that, then, you know. And then you've got nature's perception of time. To us, it barely seems to be doing anything.
Yeah, trees or flowers, you notice only in longer time that the leaves got bigger and the flowers opened.
But like for like, and like for life, they have the same amount of time.
That one we can use with the speedy camera, can't we? And then see how the flower grows.
Yeah.
And to see it
Well, I don't
really.
know if it's a speeded up camera.
Slow.
What you do is you take a after every hour you take a snap.
Yeah.
And every hour you take a picture. I've got some of this somewhere of trees on the leaves. Now would be a good time to do it. If we were to take a picture every day from now at that tree, and every day at the same time, same position, same place, take a snapshot of that tree at the back of the garden and keep doing it from now until summer. And then I've got this on. I've got this somewhere. I've already done this. Did it waxing in and waning out.
I think you
we
showed
can take it like 1 per day. I think I might want it to up it for 5 a day. Where I wanted to take maybe 3, something like that. That was the next one I wanted to do, but never did. And you take 1 per day. And you put all of these into like Google does one where they put those pictures together and it kind of creates that moving picture.
Yeah.
Even though they were just a load of stills, which is basically what a movie is. It's a load of.
Yeah, it is.
So it is basically time lapse, but it's slowing down Louis the Edisons, like really slowing them down, and when you put these all together at the end of when you've got where you need to be in summer, what you'll see is the tree moving and its leaves start to open out of the buds. You'll see them poise and slowly start to sort of pulsate. It's like a pulsing almost. Yeah, that's quite nice. And then when it goes the opposite way as well. Another one I tried to do was take loads of still shots of leaves falling from a tree and then trying to put those into the the same thing. So the leaf would fall, and I was trying to make a screensaver, to try and sort of make the leaves fall, but it didn't work out too well. For some reason, I can't remember what it was, my positioning. It was a windy day, and I couldn't keep still enough to do it. And I was very cold, and I was shivering, so that kind of hampered my ability to do it. The other one I did get that was really good, but I was looking through the windscreen of the car. And you could see some of the debris on the car, and it didn't make it look too good. But yeah, this one here, also doing it with flowers when they start to rise up.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
There's a sort of it's the pulsating that they got.
I've seen flowers. I've seen mushrooms. The one that starts like plump and small, and then grow and then have long leg and open the top, and it's wide. So you see the
what
opening.
you are doing is bringing their time into your perspective.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. The same thing is happening with the universe and the planets. You see, one thing I would love for NASA to do is do it to the planet, such as, but we've got this such a hazy view. It's a shame that we can't see into the planet in the daylight. You can, but you can't. Do you get what I mean? It's just not great detail. You need to be a bit more closer. But if you could zoom in enough and do a snapshot every day of humanity, maybe 3 times a day, snap, 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 in the same position, same place. But, that's quite difficult. You need to geosynchronize with the planet in order to get that. And snapshot that, and then do it over the course of, I don't know how long, and then you speed it up. You then see the world changing in a way that you've never seen before. And, yeah. Oh, that's a good shot. It landed on the back of the board there. That is a very strange position. If I'd have tried to do that, I'd have never done it. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so I think that would be quite unique. Something that is bringing, and if you could do it to the solar system, and then if you could do it to, your black hole from a perspective, it's very impossible to do that. I think, and not right now's technology. I don't think it would work very well, but and it's just too far away, and it's not enough in the field of view. But if you could do that, borrow a camera from God, and I think then from his perspective, or their perspective, or that perspective, or Source's perspective, this is all flourishing in their time quite nicely, I think. Yeah. Could you imagine that? That would be interesting. The evolving of the entirety of the universe, and that would be something. If you survive the cycle, the recycling humanity does, you gotta do something. Is take snapshots of the universe unfolding. Now that from the start all the way to the end of the cycle, and then the recycle and the change. I think that would be a beautiful picture. I think that would captivate any beings that existed to watch it. I think that would make you, what do you call it? Yeah, I think that would make you, that would give you some sort of awe, wouldn't it? That would be awe-inspiring. I'd like to see that. Okay, so we've got 2 brown thrushes and a blackbird, and they're all fighting each other. Well, they're not fighting. They don't care about a cat sitting there. Look at that. They're all having a good go. Aim your camera out there. Does it pick them up?
I don't know if I... Oh, I see you. Hello.
Hey, this is my place. There's one over there as well. They're not exactly fighting. They're just sort of bouncing around to each other.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yes, this is mine.
It's the right size bath.
Get out of my garden, Nini. This is my bath. Mine. No one's allowed in here except for me, Nini.
That's something.
Hey Mus, I used to think that you were facetious, but I think birds are. See that, Mus? That's what you need to do with your fur, Get in some water and splash around. Oh, it's loving it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Chasing all the others out. So brown thrush, and that one was a blackbird in there, but the other one I think is a brown thrush. The rest in the trees are sparrows, I think, and a couple of starlings that keep coming now and then. Yeah. And there's 2 pigeons that are in the oak tree.
Yeah, and they sit there together.
And at night as well, they're together. So they're kind of pairing up, those 2. Quite nice. Can you believe how much water mess they got out of there? That was quite nice to see that. And did you get it on video?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. What a way to end the video. So I'm going to leave this one here, and probably going to go to the store.